What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today is a big day because you've seen this room before. This is the grow out room, and a lot of these crocodiles and caiman, like you see this little guy right here, you see him, they're getting a little too big for the tubs here. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna pack a bunch of them up and we're gonna move them to some outdoor enclosures. Because Kyle, you set all that up in the, out by the greenhouse, so now it's time to get these guys out there.
Exactly. So we're actually gonna try to make two groups. We're gonna try to put the two broad snouts together with the brown caiman, and then we're gonna try to put two Cubans together with a Nile, just because I really believe in having them, just having the social skills that they need in order to, if we ever need to breed them, especially brown caiman, which is extremely rare in the United States. Cuban crocodiles are endangered, so if there is a breeding benefit for them, especially since they're males and we have a bunch of females, we just want to ensure they have that the social skills that they'll learn at a young age, because once they get big, then we could be disastrous.
How many female Cubans do you have?
I don't know. One in the greenhouse, one Cuban in the greenhouse, 4 in the tubs, and then six big ones.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. So again,
I think you could repopulate all of Cuba with your collection.
But that's another thing too, is getting the blood work done. I mean, that's a big thing, is finding out if they're pure. So I'm going to be reaching out to a couple guys that I know can do it. So when we start moving these animals, like the bigger animals, obviously these guys aren't too much of an issue because they're pretty easy to catch up, and if we need to do blood work, we can. But
well, explain about the blood work and why that's important, because you're mentioning it, but a lot of people might not know with the Cubans and all that.
Yeah. So what's happening is, again, I'm going to just say what I believe I know. I'm not going to say it's fact, but I believe that it is that the American crocodile is interbreeding with the Cuban crocodile and causing hybrids, per se, natural hybrids. And one hypothesis is that it's just because they built this giant canal that allows the two species to interact much more frequently. So the question is, if it's important to ensure that the Cubans stay Cubans and the Americans stay Americans, and then if it is, then we know to do blood work on ours to make sure ours are genetically pure as far as just being all Cuban. All right, so we're going to try to take these crocs out as calmly as possible. When they see this open, that's a feeding response. You can see they're ready to go. So what we have to do is break them of that, so they know we're not in here for food. Because again, if I just open this, he's going to try to grab me and thinks it's feeding time, because that's the only reason why I open this anyway. So what we have to do is ensure that he or she, this is the one, I think this is the one that we thought was a he.
Yeah, that's the male.
That we have to just make sure he knows it is not feeding time. So what I'll do is I'll try to get him over here. Come on, bud. And just at least work him a little bit so he knows, well, this is different. So he starts to slow down. And then what the problem is so I want to work him a little bit, because if you get him too far, what will happen is then he becomes flighty. And then what happened there is then he'll just start splashing everywhere. He'll get soaked. And that's no good either. So there's that happy medium between letting him know, hey, it's not time to eat, and him freaking out. So you see he's still in that feeding response, just lightly, but he's like, well, this is different. So you can see he's kind of just testing everything out. So what I'm going to do is, he's still a little grabby, so I'm just going to grab him. Come on, bud. Come on, bud. So again, see how gentle I can be? You don't have to freaking smack them. If you know the body language, you can be real easy with them. So again, see how chill he is? I'm putting very light pressure on the animal, so he's very calm.
And you got these handy dandy little Amazon boxes here. These are your transport containers.
So I want to get it, see, now he's starting to get fired up. So guys, that's exactly how I like catching them. Again, you don't have to grab them, you don't have to manhandle them. You're really gentle on them, and they'll tell you exactly, how to If you have to go firmer, softer, we'll put this on top. And he is in.
Secure?
So, secure. So, for biosecurity reasons, I don't need to wash up because we're putting all these animals together. So, and I've had these animals for quite a long time. They all seem to be doing really well. This gal is a lot grumpier than the other one. So she's gonna be a little bit harder of a time to do this with. But again, you see how they slow down when you touch them because they're like, wait, this is a little different, because usually you just throw the food in and we're done. So I don't get why you're touching me, but hey, maybe I'll still get food out of it. So
yeah, I mean, you're working them and they're just like,
yeah, you see, they're still, that's why I like it. I like when they're just a little bit of feeding response, that they're just calmer, they're trying to figure out the situation, but they're still like, hey, you know, I might get fed out of this, so let's, you know, I'll allow it. So what I want to do is just keep working them and working them, but you don't want to keep doing it because then they'll be like, well, you know, I'm not going to get food, so forget this. But you can still see he's like, I still might get food, so keep working him. So again, just kind of touching him, let him know I'm here. Just so when I go to actually grab him, I'm not, you know, you see?
And also you're not, oh, there's a little bit of water, but you're not grabbing them like crazy,
no.
like other people will like snatch them up.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I don't want to get splashed, but guys, it's inevitable with crocodiles, you're gonna get wet. So you can't work around with such powerful animals and especially drain it. So, you know, I drained it there, so I have a little bit better way of working with them, but you're gonna get wet. So again, do you see how chill that was? Like, that's exactly what I strive for.
It doesn't need to be a big ordeal.
It doesn't. You know, if you really know the animal, again, the animal will tell you exactly how it's gonna be, and you take every single animal differently. You know, we're gonna be catching up this one. We caught these two. We got Cubans to catch up, a Nile, so we got a ton of different species that we gotta treat every single one differently. So next up is the brown caiman. And the brown caiman is a subspecies of the spectacle caiman. I have an adult male, so I'm hoping this is a girl, just because I'd love to just at least pair them off. If there's no reason to produce them, you know, it's still a quality of life. You know, it's still nice to be with somebody. So again, if there ever is a reason to produce them, then we have a pair that's ready to go. But otherwise, you could have two individuals that have never been with others. So I'm guessing this one, she's more flighty, so I'm going to be a little more cautious with her. But again, you just take every animal differently. So you see how she's already defensive, so that's not a good spot for her. See, she knows this is an unknown space for her. She knows that back area is her safe space. So what I'm gonna do is turn her around. Let's see if we have something to spin around. So she's an animal that we just gotta be a little more secure on, a little bit more pen. So what use this to kind of just push her. So see, unfortunately, you're gonna get animals like that just are stressed. Now, she's always been a much more skittish animal. So again, you have to take every single animal different. Let me see if I just calm her down with this. So an animal like this, you can see she's stressed. She was already defensive, so the mistake I made is I drained the water. So she does not like when the water is drained, so I told her something's up. And again, she's a finicky eater, so she's not very food motivated. So she's an animal you just... So what I'm trying to do is seal it back up like this. So what that'll do is it'll give her the comfort of water to give her plenty of space. Because again, I don't want to just snatch her up. Like, you can see how she's very twitchy. I don't want to snatch her up. I still want to be gentle with her, but firm, because this is an animal that is much more skittish, much more flighty. Okay, so now you can see we let it fill up because again, I drained the water to clean it, but that spooked her because she knows every time we drain water, she's uncomfortable because water is their comfort. So what I did is I raised it up, so now she has water and she will feel much more comfortable. So you see how before she was, you know, launching back at me when I was touching her tail. Now she's just like, well, I'll just swim away because I got water. There's no reason for me to fight it. So that's what I want, is for her to be comforted like this, and then you just trying to get away.
She is trying to take off your nifty plug there,
which is counterintuitive because she doesn't want that. Okay, so she's gonna come up, let her breathe, and what I'll do is I'll grab her on the way when she's underwater.
Right.
So here, see she's still fighting me a little bit, so I'll grab her here, again gentle, and then but firm. So you didn't see me snatch her, but what it is, I grabbed her firmly because again she is a more defensive caiman. As you can see, she's not fighting me too hard. And that was Ryan. No, don't bite your tail. Don't bite your tail. So the biggest thing with small crocs is you see how they're turned like that? That's dangerous because if I let go, she's gonna spin and go after my hand right on her tail. So what I want to do is get her to a point where she's comforted like that, and then just let go. Calm down, girl. Just like that. All right, guys, sorry the GoPro died, but we are making do with a selfie. So the Nile here, Fester, is a little on the snappier side too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill it up. You can see, look at this.
What's that?
Look at his little teeth.
Oh yeah. I have a collection of little baby Hades teeth too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you see, she already knows that the gig is up. So usually she's over here jumping at me, not like the Cubans. The Cubans are always fine. So okay, let's see how she reacts here. Again, I'm just reading the animal.
And do you notice Niles tend to be more mellow of a species overall too? When we work with them?
I've noticed as adults, but man, I feel like they're spitfires when they're young. Like all the Niles I had, when they're babies, they can be absolute spitfires. So you can see she's being defensive, keeping her head up, watching. She's not dropping her head at all.
Being very bold.
She's very chill. Like she's just like casually swimming. Like even when I pop her tail up, she's not having those crazy jerks away. But she's maintaining her position above water.
And do you think it's a girl, or what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think she was incubated at 86, so at that temperature, it's a 50-50 split. You know, could be a male, could be a female. So.
And again, you're just working her, making sure she's comfortable, right?
Yeah. So there. What I was trying to do is lift her up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same for the Friscus. Take the water back on because the water's still not where I want it to be. The crocodilians are really smart in that they'll know. They'll listen for cues to know, okay, they're gonna get fed soon. So those guys were in the feeding mode, but once she heard that there was something else going on, she got weary. So we just gotta work her a little bit more. She is a bolder animal, but you can see she is definitely not in that feeding response anymore like those other crocs we were working with. So just kind of working her. Again, these animals I do not work with at all. So it's all about just knowing the body language, knowing what to feel for, how to read an animal, and I feel like
she's not putting her head down at all. She's on to your game.
I feel like I've learned a thing or two with crocs. So let's see what I want to do is just try to see. I'm just getting her more comfortable, and see. Look, now she's like, oh, well, I'm good there. So she wants. Essentially, if she wants, she can just walk right off my hand. So you hear that? I mean, she knows something's up. So I'm just gonna let her settle. You know, there's so many people that say, well, I didn't work with them in a week or two, then they revert back to the way they were. Well, you know, it's all about just reading body language of the animal. I mean, this is not an animal I work with at all, and you can see what I'm doing. So it's all about just giving it time, learning the reading behavior of crocodilians, that you start to learn what to look for and what to watch for. It's just like reading any other animal. So again, I don't work with her at all. And just pull her out. You see she's doing whatever she wants. If she starts moving, I'm just gonna drop her head back in the water, let her swim away. But when you see her legs are completely sprawled out, she's very aware. She's unsure what's happening, but she's also like, well, I really don't actually feel too much in danger. Because as you can see, she's not trying to get away at all. She's just doing what she wants to do. So now that we're moving her, we're pulling her away from the water. So that's a concern. So what I do is just work my hand up like that. And now I have it so if she does start to get crazy, all I do is tighten my grip. But you see she's so her tail curled like that, she's starting to tense up a little bit because obviously she's like, oh. It's amazing how these crocodiles, as you guys know, with nuisance alligators, they don't have to, but they euthanize alligators 4 feet and above because they have essentially an internal GPS that they know exactly how to get back to where they were. So same thing with crocodiles, same thing with these little guys. They know where their tub is. They know where their tub is in this room. The big crocs, see there, okay. So she's starting to get icy. So again, that's why I just tightened up on the grip, and now she's secure. So Ryan, if you don't mind helping me with that. Thank you. What I'll do is I'll put her in.
And again, same thing, smaller crocodiles. So you're not going to take your front hand off first. You're going to take your back hand.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reposition because you see how this hand is underneath. That's not a good position to release. Or if she turns like this, what I can do is I allow it to roll. All right, roll it there. And now I'm in a position I want to be to release her. Again, what you want to do is just let them calm down. And what I'm doing is I'm feeling her tense up. So essentially, she was tense, but at least not crazy enough to where you can pull away. Because if they're turned a certain way, you know, that's where they can really get you. Because essentially they're cocked, ready to go. Those muscles are tensed up, ready to go. So right when you release, they just keep going. Okay, guys, so we definitely saved the best for last. The Cuban crocodiles. Now, these guys are extremely food motivated all the time. They don't care what they hear. They're like, there's still gonna be food, so I'm gonna do what I do. So
and there's two in here.
There's two, so I mean, it's completely different. Again, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna do because I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open this up, read the situation, and talk as I go.
I mean, they're both popping up here. They're like, food? You feeding me? What are you doing?
And with them, they're going to launch out. They're going to be... So,
I mean, Cubans are just so bold that they'll flop on the floor and then keep coming at you for food.
Yeah. So what I like to do is get them over, and then I'll kind of just touch them on the tail, like, hey, no, we're not doing this.
So this will give you half a second when they're not focused on you.
Yeah. Come on. So that's the thing. I could have easily done it with that one, but this one's watching me. See if we can turn them around. Come on, bud.
And these are both males.
Yes. Oh, not the box. Okay. We'll get it over here. Are they coming? Oh. Careful. All right, you can see we already kind of curved that. They're still having a feeding response, but they're starting to simmer down. You know, because again, I've had them launch out completely out of the tub, and I've caught them with my foot before. So they can be crazy, but what I'm doing is just saying, see, the other one has gotten it to where it's like, you know, usually you guys just throw the food in and we're gone, but that one's being far more wary.
Yeah, I mean, I've had Hades pop out of the tub and then feed him on the ground. He still comes at me like, okay, food. I know not in my cage, but you feed me, right?
So you can see there's still this one. I think that one is hippo. I think this one's hippo because that one is, that other one seems to be a little bit darker. So we're trying to, come on guys. Come on guys.
Yeah, they have such a feeding response.
Yeah, they do. Again, it's all about, because this one is still, even when you're touching it, it's still having a feeding response. See? But it's much more minimal because, as we talked about before, it's, you know, they're having, they want food. They're an apex predator, always looking for food.
Now he's kind of like doing like half charges. He's like, I might have it.
Reading the situation, so that's good. That other one went to the back, and it's like, I'm just gonna see what goes on with this one. If this one gets food, then I'm in. All right, so this one's back in it. So we gotta,
hey, what are you doing?
So what we gotta do is just get that one to the back. See.
Now he's like, maybe you do have food.
So just start it up to kind of knock that one out, and then we can just work with this one. Come on, come on. So these, I don't trust as much as I do that Nile because these guys are very fast. And as you saw, it's like with the Nile, it was like feeding response is off, it's off. This guy, it's like on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Much like a saltine, you know, when I say that. So again, but the problem is too is he doesn't want to go under the water either. So that's a great time to snatch him up is when they're under the water. His head is under the water.
Yeah, but his feeding response has definitely been substantially dampened.
But you know,
dampened.
Some people would say that we're stressing the animal out, lactic acid buildup, yada yada yada. It's having a feeding response, so that means it's not stressed. It's just because if it was stressed, it'd be all the way in the back trying to get away. But right now, it is, as you can see, it's coming towards me. So there's, I'm kind of forcing it to turn around there.
Yeah, and Cubans are so much different than other crocodiles. They're so much more bold and confident with themselves and with food.
So you can see now it's like, wait a minute, okay. I'm not getting food in there. You see how he's searching around?
Yeah, I mean, you literally moved adult Cubans and got them for the first time, put them in a foreign pond, and then they've been looking for food immediately. Mm-hmm. They're not an easy animal to stress unless you're really messing up.
Yeah. So again, same thing. You just keep working with them, reading their body language, and then you can pull them out. I know Ryan has always said, well, can you just pull yours out? Well, you can. Just give me a little bit of time. So now what I'll do is, since he's used to being touched like this, I'll get ready for the catch. So again, now he's like, all right, you know what? I get it. You're not feeding me. I'm just going to go away. But.
And for those that see Kyle's hand bleeding, that is from this little plastic here. That's not from the croc.
Yeah. Okay, so look, I have him held. He's secured. But you see how chill he is? So again, I was firm in my grab, but not a shock to it. And I was like, okay. Because now I'm ready to pull him out. So he's starting to get more.
And that's what's come just from your box behind you.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's what comes just knowing body language of crocodiles and the animals you work with.
Yeah. So again, we'll roll. Come in here. Let him settle.
And then now's a tricky situation because now you got to put another Cuban in that box.
Now is a tricky situation. So now, since this one is shyer, should be pretty good. Even though we grabbed that other one. So you see it's more frantic about getting away, so she is more stressed. He, right. I'm not used to saying he for a Cuban crocodile. So again, we're just slowly working it. I'm just gonna pull this out. And again, I'm just gonna take it real slow. Because I don't want to see how he was gonna freak out, but he's like, okay, no, I don't need to.
Yeah, he's definitely more skittish.
Yes, for sure. But he's not defensive, so I don't want him to, you can still see he's comfortable in the water, and that's the way I want him to be. I don't want him to turn back on me. So, come on, buddy. Let's see if I can this sometimes works better because essentially you're moving them without pulling them. It almost feels like something's underneath them just pulling them. instead of pulling by the tail. But he's smart, he gets it. Come on, bud. Alright, so I'll do the same thing. So they're not used to things coming up from underneath them. So when they get weird like that, you just let go, comes from away.
And again, just working the animal and reading the language that the animal's speaking. And I mean, this is a Cuban crocodile you're doing this with, one of the more crazy of the crocodile species, or more high-strung, I would say.
Yes, yeah. The mistake I made there is I bumped his nose on that, and he's like, wait. So we got the 3 out of the boxes. They are pretty mellow now. This one was fiery, but the Crocodiles seem to be pretty chill.
Yeah.
But again, the question is if they will get along. So,
and guys, look how beautiful these caiman are. I mean, let's take just a second to pause. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful animal.
It's funny because this is the rarest here.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look that special. The Crocodiles definitely look like special animals.
All right, I guess.
All right, you want to go first? Sure. Just swim away. Swim away.
Last but not least.
I'm about to say mine's going to be the crazy one. Oh, he felt the sun. Yeah, get the best spot.
Amazing. So now all we got to do is move the Cubans and up. We have 3 more crocs to move in here, but I mean, look how much more space they have, and obviously Kyle's watching right now because the broad snout and the brown caiman are head to head, so this will be a good indicator of kind of maybe what they're gonna do to kind of watch their to see if they fight or not. And they're just having a little stare up right now. Keep in mind, these animals have been kind of in isolation or just by themselves for years now, so this is their first time interacting with another animal. And they did good. Initially.
This might be a 1.2 trio because this, I believe, is the male, and then the bigger one's a female, and I believe the Fuscus is a female. But we have other plans for her. All right, so now we got the 2 Cuban males and the Nile male that we will be putting together. I think it's a Nile male. No, we don't know because that was they give it at 86, so it could be. We could have a Cuban Nile hybrid one day.
Oh,
no,
gosh.
no, we don't. We don't want that.
Well, you already have that.
So this again is just ensuring all these animals have the social skills they need to be with others when they're obviously much bigger too.
Like Kyle mentioned earlier, these males are potentially going to be used to breed this horde of females in case there's a use for it, but besides that, they'll be put together. You'll get eggs, you just won't hatch them if there's no need. It's still a natural cycle for them to breed and lay eggs.
Yes, exactly.
But I guess we'll get them in there. No
Let's
point
get them in, see how they do. And... Okay. Hi, buddy.
Do you want to push him towards him or away?
No,
He's making his way.
Yeah. So you're gonna put him like right in the tub. Just wait for their little ass climb.
Last but not least.
And they are in.
And the Cubans do have some sort of social skill because these 2 were raised together, so there's maybe a little bit of introductory period with the Nile, but they should be fine.
Yeah, unlike your Cuban crocodile. It's just isolated. We
can put them in here.
In a barren world.
We can put them in with them if you want. But hope you guys enjoyed today's video, moving some of the baby crocs. There's gonna be more to come, like Cal keeps joking, Hades is coming outdoors as well, so don't know if we're gonna do that today or probably another day. He's gonna come out in his tub, and then I'm waiting on one of these gray tubs to come in and he'll go into that.
We have some alligators too that are equal to
alligators.
his size, so again we can do the same thing with the alligators with Hades just to ensure again he has the social skills he
needs
should have, yeah.
For the females.
Yeah, and they would get that in the wild. You know, they're always around other animals in the wild. So
awesome. Well, Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Patreon for exclusive bonus content. But until next time, we'll see you guys later.
See you guys.
Bye.
Then he'll just start splashing everywhere. We'll all get soaked.